Hey y'all, it is Moonlight Cowboy, and today we are going to cover 9 new or possibly never before seen wall tricks. Some of these tricks I really came up with from playing with them. A couple of them I kind of knew about. Well, anyways, let's get started. So the first one is floating walls. So we know how to float walls, or free place walls using, a floor decor item. Did you know that you could actually use this with a wall decor item as well? So that means that I can literally take and mount the wall on a wall like I would a wall decor item, like so. So this trick and the next trick are ones that I failed to include in my previous wall tutorial. So for those of you who do know this, you're like, oh, this isn't mind-blowing, Moonlight Cowboy. Why are you including this in the tutorial? Everybody does this. I just felt it would only be fair to have that as part of this tutorial since I didn't include it in the last one. So like I said before, with that said, this one is the kind of the similar situation. You can do the exact same thing with the walls and a floating item, or like say a roof item, I should say, right? So right here, I'm going to blueprint it to a light, and I can go ahead and free place that based on the blueprint right there. Yeah, so pretty cool. Now, coming up, we're going to be doing some tutorials on the new arch walls from Fort Fortress and from the Blue Ridge set. I know some of it's been covered before, but I definitely want to step and throw my hat into the ring with some of the things that I've discovered. So, first and foremost, you can turn the new arches into half walls. And that's actually going to be the basis for all of the tricks coming up. So the next one is how to get walls unstuck. So say you, for once, you want to remove that middle wall, right? We want to get rid of it without having to remove all the walls. That's always been a problem in the past. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn those into the new arches, right? And then you're going to flip that arch around to the other style, because it won't let you disconnect it otherwise. And then once you flip it going the other way, you can remove it and then turn your wall back into a regular wall, and bam. Real easy way without having to use something to destroy it. Now, arches are usually the biggest headache. I get more complaints of people saying I can't get the slant wall up top. I can't get it removed. So in this case, because it's attached to a full wall, what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a half wall. And once we do that, it'll make it a lot easier to destroy, because they kind of go based off of slightly different rules than like walls and half walls. That's why they seem to get stuck more frequently than these walls. So if you ever run into this problem, all you need to do just to get them unstuck so you can remove them is just turn it into that half wall, destroy it, and then once you destroy it, you should be able to remove your walls. Pretty easy. All right, for the next trick. This is going to be free place vines. This could also work for free place walls too. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of doing that in this video. So we're going to add vines to a half wall. And then we're going to turn that half wall into the angled wall. And once it's turned into the angle wall, we can then remove it. We have to shift it to the other side though. It can't just be the angled wall. Okay, so you have to move it over. So in this example, I'm going to actually create a blueprint for that. One of 2 blueprints you're going to see in this regard in this video. For this one, and for those of you who don't know, when you put a mat underneath of the wall to break that connection with the wall and the ground, you will then be able to place free placed walls onto foundations. Without doing that, you can't place free placed walls on foundations. It's looking for a snapping point. So this is a normal free place wall. Everybody has kind of seen that. That's into building. And as you can see, I'm going to be able to blueprint that here in a second. But what's cool about this now is because we have this new arch wall, we can go ahead and change it out for that wall. And then, like I said before, you shift it to going the other way, and then remove it. And now you can free place walls that, or free face vines that way. And I'm just going to give you a little example of how that works, because I put these this wavy willard stone wall up, and yeah, got that on there just fine. Could have destroyed it, the wavy willard wall, and got it a little closer, but you get the point. All right, for the next one, double wall 2.0. So this is a trick that most builders will know how to do in its initial stages, right? So everybody knows you use the brick arches, you break one, and then you can add another arch going the other way. And this is the way that you would normally do your double walls, right? Or double arches per se, if you needed to double wall arches, like so, right? But now, because of that new half wall, or the new half wall trick that you saw, as I think it was trick number 3 in this video, if you notice, now I can just turn those and make double walls, double half walls out of these arches instead of just being double walled. So once I've got them, to the right arch set, I'm going to go ahead and change those over, and boom, we now have double walls. This is more tedious than the other way, don't get me wrong, but what's cool about this is you'll see later that there are certain scenarios where you would want to use a arch wall because it's easier to get into things. So for the next thing, we're going to do wall merging. So what's cool about this, before, unfortunately, you had to have the abandoned mindset in order to do wall merges. You can do some wall merges with the new arch set. I'm going to show you how. So here, because that new arch set just kind of clips into things, especially that first part, that nose, you can just place it inside of walls. Okay, so look, it was that easy to do that wall merge and get it to be a little bit closer. Okay, you could have gone through the wall too, obviously, which is another way to do that. And I'm going to show you a different way to do wall merging as well. This one's a little bit more intense, but I think this one's even more useful. So now we have put 2 half walls there, 2 glass half walls, and I want to narrow that window, and make it really look custom, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to destroy that bottom one. The reason for this is because I'm going to want to place walls at different lengths there, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So I'm going to remove that, and notice, like, I put the foundation to where it's kind of split down the middle of that half wall. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this wall into the angled walls. And the reason I'm doing that is half walls do not turn completely intangible when you break them, but the angled arch walls do. So meaning that there's no rim, no edge, and you can merge, or I shouldn't say just merge, but you can snap things through them, unlike the other half walls. So once I get these destroyed here, you kind of get to see the vision of what I'm talking about. I'd like to clean up my mess when I'm done playing, so excuse me while I remove that flamethrower and stuff. And then now, look, I can just snap walls right through it, and I can create like extra merging. Now, because I want to create that window, like I told you before, I'm going to use a catwalk, and then we're going to get our floors or foundations into a place where I can kind of spread it out to where some of those arch walls are exposed. So I'm going to use a couple of catwalks to just space out my floors, and then same rules apply. So I can just go ahead and put my walls right through it. And like you saw before, you can do double walled, right? So like it didn't have to just be these. I just did this for the sake of your time, because if you saw how to double wall, or you know how to double wall, then that part should be fairly easy to you. All right, so yeah, now we can get our glass walls. And then of course, in order to get your walls in place, in case you weren't aware, you just have to destroy the wall, like the half wall that it's sitting on. So I'm going to bring out trusty flamethrowers again, and I can bust out those walls, and then I can remove these foundations so they're not locked into place. Again, I'm going to clean up my mess, and boom. Can just disconnect those guys right there, and now we have a great looking custom wall in place. And the amount of times and ways you could do this is really your dealer's choice, right? So the next thing is clipping walls into pre-existing obstacles. So this could be buildings, this could be, you know, rocks, rock formations, things like that. This is my favorite trick you can do with this. So if you look right here, because of that nose, remember how I said earlier we're going to see how this looks? That nose can go inside the building. You see that? It's inside the building a little bit. And this is the way that you're going to be able to do flush wall merges. The nose and the top of the part of that arch, those are both very forgiving into clipping into things. And I'm going to show you a couple examples. But yeah, look, see how well that wall goes inside of that building? You would not have been able to do that before this new trick. So here's some examples. Look how those walls are inside of the rocks, and that's the waterfall behind there. This will be a build coming out later, but I wanted to steal a couple of clips from it that I use this as an example. So yeah, look how I can put the rocks, the walls inside of the rocks. Look at that, the edge. You could never do that before. It's such a neat, cool trick. It's one of my favorite things that they've done. So this last one, I told you there would be another way to do the free place vines or arches. You know, I called this one free place arches, the other one free place vines, but in all honesty, it really doesn't matter how you want to do it. You could even do it double-sided as well with the vines. But just for context, what I'm going to do here, I turned a half wall that had vines attached into one of the new arches, and then I'm blueprinting all three. And once I got all that blueprinted, there we go. And so this right here will be how you can then put vines anywhere you want for the half vines, because we couldn't really do that before. And you can still do this for the full vines, because you can attach a full set of vines to a half wall. So this could very well replace your current vine blueprint if you used one for the full walls, because you could do one for half, one for full. In theory, you could do one on each side of the arch to make that happen. And I mean, you can even really get kind of silly with it too. You know, you can do something like this as well. You could even turn this into both of these into the new slant walls or arches, what have you. I always call them arches, but I know they're called slant walls. I think half the community does too. So my apologies if that became confusing at all. And yeah, I could do it like this too, in case I wanted to make an entire wall of the vines, in case I wanted to put it in higher spaces and stuff, and then I could just remove whatever I didn't use or what have you, right? So anyways, I hope you found this helpful. This is more of like a amendment to my other wall video that I have. If you want to see more wall tricks, please check that out. There's a bunch of wall tricks in there too. But with this new item, I really felt it was important to get another one of these tutorials out. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a blessed day and stay safe out there.